Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So, MAGA men and women are starting to realize that, hey, maybe the Republican Party isn't the party of family values after all. You don't say. So, two things happened that really pissed people off. One of them I talked about in another video about the whole Epstein file thing. Here is the other thing that happened. Accused sex trafficker and accused rapist Andrew Tate and his brother Christian are now in the US. They just landed here yesterday. And check out what Andrew Tate had to say at one point about the Trump family.
And I'm very close to the Trump family. I know them well, and I spoke to Barron after the incident, and I look forward to, once I am free, being with Donald Trump in person and reminding him that he's a bulletproof badass.
So, very close to the Trump family, he says, and he's having private conversations with Barron. Isn't that nice? Wow. Melania must be so proud. So for those on the podcast, that video was dated July of 2024. So this was not like a long time ago. This was very recent. And I shared also recently that Trump had been pressuring the Romanian government to lift travel restrictions on the Tate brothers. And it worked. And that is how they came to the United States. So the Tate brothers flew into Florida yesterday. This set off kind of a MAGA civil war because Florida Governor Ron DeSantis said that they are not welcome. He said they're not welcome in Florida, don't know anything. But he said that he has instructed law enforcement, like local law enforcement, to look into ways that they could maybe take action against them. And then Trump was asked about all of this at a press conference, and he, as usual, lied and said, oh, I don't know anything about it. They're like, well, we had heard because the Financial Times reported that the Trump administration had made two separate inquiries about the Tates. And he said, oh, I didn't have anything to do with that. Don't know anything about it. So some MAGA members are completely clueless. They have no idea that Trump had a hand in this. I was lurking around in conservative groups and I found, they're like dragging the Tates, calling them every name possible, rightfully, it's just slamming them for everything that they've done or they're accused of doing, and even just what they personally admit themselves in videos. But the comments showed they are completely ignorant about Trump's involvement in the Tates and them having their freedom back to travel. There were, though, a lot of MAGA influencers and a lot of MAGA leaders who know the truth. So there was this immediate backlash. A conservative journalist and commentator named Josh Hammer, he is usually a Trump humper, usually goes along with, loves everything that Trump does. He wrote this scathing article in Newsweek, and he called out Trump and Alina Habba, also Tucker Carlson, for backing Tate and for making excuses for him. And Hammer wrote, quote, that these moral monsters have been welcomed to our shores with open arms is appalling and shameful. The saga also exposes an unfortunate fault line on the American right, one the right must correctly sort out if it is to have any meaningful staying power as a political force. And then Hammer laid out the charges that have been levied against the Tates: human trafficking, sexual abuse, money laundering, and forming an organized crime group to exploit and traffic women. And then Andrew Tate personally, so those were the charges that he and his brother are charged with. Tate was also hit with a charge of rape. And then he pointed out, meaning this Hammer guy pointed out, Andrew Tate is an overt supporter of Hamas. So he is not just like, oh, I support Palestinians not being murdered. He is a full-on supporter of Hamas. He actually praised Yahya Sinwar after he was killed, after the October 7th attack in Israel, and when they finally hunted him down and killed him. And so this Hammer guy went on to write, quote, Andrew Tate is a self-described misogynist and self-proclaimed pimp, having described his online course on pimping as my recruitment system. From his massive platform, he urges his largely male audience to treat women as mere sexual objects and sperm receptacles. He bragged on a podcast about hitting a woman and breaking her jaw, saying he, quote unquote, got away with it. So Hammer said, quote, how any political movement claiming the mantle of family values can support such an individual is inexplicable. Yes, it is, isn't it, Josh? Kind of like, a family values party that elected a convicted felon. Kind of like a family values party who elected a man who cheated on all 3 of his wives, including with a porn star. Kind of like a party electing a man who was found liable of sexual assault and has been accused of assaulting and harassing more than 24 other women, including a 13-year-old child. I mean, wow, who could have seen this coming, huh, Josh? Who could have predicted that those same voters would also support filth like Andrew Tate? Just doesn't make sense, does it? Anyway, it isn't just Hammer, though, who is completely oblivious and does not recognize the cognitive dissonance in their own ranks. There's a right-wing influencer who, in the bio, by the way, on Twitter, mentions owning the libs. And this person had to apparently buy a second set of pearls to clutch after this whole thing went down, because she posted on Twitter, quote, I voted for an administration that would stop human trafficking at our borders. I voted to get rapists and pedophiles off the streets. Trump's action in freeing the Tate brothers was a stunning betrayal of his mandate. So voted to get rid of rapists. So I'm going to put the guy who has been, found liable of sexual assault and a judge said it was rape. I'm going to put that guy in charge and he's going to stop it. He's going to stop the pedophiles and the rapists and all that. Yeah. Okay. Got it. She also posted, quote, what a horrible, humiliating, demoralizing day to be a conservative. I mean, I would argue that's just a day ending in the letter Y, but anyway. Then there were other Twitter users, other people who slammed Trump as well for this whole thing. So there was a right-wing managing editor of the Babylon Bee who wrote, quote, looks like Trump made an exception to his no rapists and sex traffickers crossing the border policy. Yeah. I mean, since so many of them are already here and in the Republican Party. And then another right-wing influencer posted, quote, I am so angry this morning. The Tates should have died in prison with the full encouragement of the United States. Instead, Trump decided the best course of action would be to pressure Romania into releasing them and have them come to the United States. It's safe to say I am officially regretting my vote for Trump. This is a deal breaker for me. Yeah, we kind of warned you. And then a Maga influencer named the Misfit Patriot, he is going hard at the Tates. Now, I do not agree with this guy on most everything else. I mean, he is, spouting all kinds of anti-Islam or, anti-Muslim crap and, just stuff that I would never agree with. But he is right on this. And he's also going after people on the right who are trying to justify this whole thing. So he shared a video which allegedly shows Andrew Tate slapping and beating a girl with a belt. And she was supposedly only 14 or 15 years old when this was filmed. But, tell me again about Save the Children and QAnon and all that garbage. So the amount of justification, though, in his replies was just mind blowing. I mean, people kept saying things like, oh, well, this girl said it was consensual role playing. You can't give consent as a child. Yeah. But, thank you all for outing yourselves as also being child predators, most likely, since you're trying to justify this. Anyway, the Misfit Patriot tagged Trump and he wrote on Twitter, quote, "Do you not understand why I push this so hard yet? Even if you look at this from a purely political perspective, anyone from the Trump administration aligning with the Tates is the dumbest fucking decision Maga can make. For fuck's sake, listen to your voters at Real Donald Trump." And then another person wrote, quote, "Makes me wonder if the rape allegations about Trump are true. If they don't pay for their crimes because of this, I will instantly regret voting for Trump. I pray justice is served." So they're wondering if the rape allegations against Trump are true, but they're not going to they're not going to ditch Trump. They're not going to abandon their support for Trump unless the Tates get away with their crimes. And then another person posted, quote, "To hell with the Donald Trump administration. Donald Trump's government is a corrupt collective that supports sex traffickers. I regret having voted for them." And then a woman responded to the Misfit Patriot under his post or one of his posts, and she called out Alex Jones for his support of the Tates. She wrote, quote, "I just posted a little while ago about Alex Jones biting that bait too. I can't believe the far right anymore and am a Republican." So yeah, he may lose some support over this as well as other things. And here's the thing. He risks not only losing just, normie average American voters, but one of his big money donors is a Jewish woman. And Tate he's not just a Hamas supporter, he is openly anti-Semitic. Someone had posted a screenshot of all of the different insults that Tate made towards Jewish people. And this was just in September and October of last year. So Trump is risking pissing off major Jewish donors like Miriam Adelson with his support of Tate. So it's a bit of a sticky wicket. Yeah, I mean, he's got it coming at him from all sides. I mean, he has the white supremacists who don't like his support of Israel and the Jewish people. And then you've got people like Tate, who's like this huge online influencer. I mean, I guess he's lost a little bit of his, facade and support over the past couple of years, but he still has a big following, especially with the manosphere, and all the young guys in the country, all the incels who have followed his lead, who have done what Andrew Tate tells them to do, and then they wonder why women don't want anything to do with them. It's kind of a clue there, guy. But anyway, yeah, so, and then you have all these right-wing evangelicals and holier than thou right-wingers who think that they're the, moral police, they're the morality police and should be able to tell everybody else what to do. And yet here you are, you voted in a guy who's like helping these two accused, well, at least one accused pedophiles and rapists, and, he and his brother who are accused of trafficking women. So yeah, I mean, the pretzel logic, it's going to bite him eventually, I hope. Anyway, I will let you know when or if I hear more. But yeah, Donald Trump is just eroding his support every single day. And I am ba-da-ba-ba-ba loving it. All right, guys, thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like, please share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.